Hey guys, this is Verneer for CardRunners.com, and I am going to do a Leakfinder for the Iller on PokerStars. He plays full ring, and he sent me a database of his hands. It's about 30,000 hands, where he's down about 5 buy-ins, but as you can see, the trend is negative, and his expected value is down even more, down about 12 buy-ins. So he's clearly making some mistakes. I say this after having already looked at his database. So whenever I review a database, one of the first things I look at is the just the expected value graph and just the general graph. So this graph tells me that there's quite a few swings and the direction seems to be going down. So that's pretty obvious. But then when I look at it positionally, I see that he's playing around 15-10. 14.5, 10, which is reasonable. 4.4% 3-bet, which is reasonable. It's on the kind of more loose and aggressive side for full ring. So like a very standard nitty player for full ring would play something like 12.5, 10 with a maybe like a 3% 3-bet. Versus 3% fold is 34%, which is very, very, very low. So I can tell right off the bat that this is one area that he's making mistakes. He's not folding to enough 3-bets. I think anything between 60 and 70 is reasonable. Went to showdown is 30.8%, which is pretty high. One money at showdown is pretty high too. One money, one soft flop. But the main thing that I want to focus on, one area that I would want to address is the versus 3-bet fold. So I take a quick look at that. That gives me a general overview of the player. The next thing that I would do is I would open up his HUD and take a look and see that he's c-betting around 70% of the time, which might or might not be. It's definitely on the high side. So just some general notes. Let me bring that up. The Iller on PokerStars. Low fold versus 3-bet, 34%. High c-bet, around 70%. And let me bring that back up. So double barrel is around 45%, and fold to c-bet is about 45%. So both of those are reasonable. The c-bet is like I said, it seems high. So let me take a quick look at it. What happens when? So one of the filters we'll run is advanced filters. So we will do preflop. PFR equals true. So we'll double click on that, add that, and then on the flop continuation bet made will say true. And let's take a look at how that looks like. Okay, so that looks good. And I'm guessing it's going to be quite a bit of non-showdown winnings. Looks like it's entirely non-showdown winnings. And okay, so let me take a quick look at that win rate. So when he c-bets, his win rate is quite high. So this is, I'm going to make a note. So seems to be okay. Now let's take a look at the low fold versus 3-bet and take a look at how much of an issue that is. So we're going to go back to the filters. We're going to see faced preflop 3-bet is true, and folded to preflop 3-bet is going to be false. So we're going to add both of those. Faced preflop 3-bet is true, folded to preflop 3-bet is false. And he actually seems to be doing okay with that. So let's take a look. All right, and looks like he's winning both at showdown and without showdown. So I'm actually surprised at this. So I'm going to take another. I'm actually going to look at a couple of hands and see what's going on here.